Already know what time it is. It's your boy DJ RichieSkye back with some tea, interviews, recaps, and more. And be sure to check the links in the description of this video for trips, for books, one-on-one sessions, and more. Now let's get into the tea. Y'all, we are back in the building, and I was actually wondering when we would get to this point. And it appears as though here we are. We got to talk about the Christy Girls, okay? The Christy Girls, the Christy Girls, the Christy Girls, all right? Who are the Christy Girls, you may be asking? Well, none other than Jackie Marie Christie's daughters. Yes, they are back in the blogs. You know why Chantel is in the blogs? Because of her falling out with her mom on the telly, right? But why is the other daughter in the news? Well, fans have been sort of speaking about these two and their relationship for quite some time. And to see some of this play out on reality TV has been also very, very interesting and added to the dynamic. So let's take a look at what Takari had to say about this entire situation. And I want to know what you guys' thoughts and reactions are. So just take a listen.
Using the favorite daughter to recreate a storyline, using your trauma, controlling the narrative, because having you come on there would be too real? Or are they trying to capture them same amount of viewers that they would get in when the show was about you? What? Who said that?
All right. So, first of all, this is following a viral trend, right? There's a trend where someone says something that is literally like maybe the truth, and it's almost like they're talking to somebody else. And then, or it's like somebody's voice is saying it, and then you pop up on the screen and you're like, wait, who said that? Right? When it's ultimately for them, their truth, right? And if you haven't seen it, don't worry about it. I mean, it's nothing to be, you're not missing anything amazing if you haven't seen it. But here is an example of it. So, again, following the trend. Now, I noticed a commenter says this. I was literally saying, why is Chantel acting like she is the daughter who dealt with the trauma? As I recall, she was the favorite. I'm glad you and your mom have been healing, but Chantel is showing her tail. Okay. So I'm going to move on to another post. I'm going to let you guys see what the other post is. I'm going to pull it up now because it adds context to this story. Let's see if I can. All right. So here's the best way that I can pull it up for you guys because it's a very quick reel. Okay. So Takari says, please read 2 slides. She says, I'm not asking for respect. I'm demanding it. Whatever you guys have going on, have it, but don't mention me in it, or I'm telling my side too. Back to my peaceful living. Best wishes to all. Now, one of the things that I think she may be referring to is that when Chantel talks about her issues with her mom, she says, we, right? So I'm assuming that maybe Takari felt like she was being lumped into this situation and that this situation really truly applies to her and that everyone on this show is basically recreating her trauma as she stated earlier. Now, Chantel then comments, and I'm not sure where she commented this at, but Takari has a response. Chantel says, I'll start by saying thanks because it's polite. It's the polite thing to do. But to be honest, you could have easily texted me this, accompanied by a personal apology for all the ish you've said and done, both publicly and privately. I'm not with the public shenanigans anymore. That's why I've been quiet. Well, here we are in public, but I guess she was fed up. She says, I don't have no ill wishes toward you, but this ain't genuine, and you know that. You put this up for your followers and the blogs, so you can carry on this sad, sappy charade like nobody gives an F about you. Don't want nothing to do with you, etc. I've been there for you and dare you to say otherwise. I stopped effing with you off the strength of you and your poor decisions. Has nothing to do with mom. We all know how I get down. If I wanted to speak, I would. But the same way you don't want to forge a fake relationship with her, I don't want to forge a fake, ingenuine one with you. I haven't done ish to you. So how I get included in your mess and hit in the crossfire, I don't know. If you wanted me to hate our mom for the rest of my life, it isn't going to happen. Forgiveness is paramount. So many things that I feel like I want to pull apart here based on some of Chantel's responses, but I just have so many questions. Like, could you pick up the phone and call Takari? Do you guys have that relationship where, because I don't see anywhere in here where it says, I called you, girl, pick up the phone, right? Because that would be my first thought. If I see my sister posting something crazy about me on social media, I'm calling her immediately. All right. Anyway, um, she says, I haven't done ish to you, so how I get included in your mess and hitting the crossfire. If you wanted me to hate our mom for the rest of my life, it isn't going to happen. Forgiveness is paramount. So at this point in time, we would have to believe that maybe she's already forgiven Jackie for things that happened on the show. And I'm not really quite sure where this is going. She says, we only get one mom. Bashing her in the media moves us forward in what way? That's interesting because just last week, I could have swore Chantel was having some things to say about Jackie, expecting her to change, right? Expecting her to have changed. She made comments on, I mean, there were a lot of comments that we could see from last week. And you can simply go back to some of the pages and see, especially Reality Chat. Go to Reality Chat on Instagram. They got all the receipts. So there's been a little bit of bashing on your side, Chantel. It says, then she says, it gives you public sympathy and support. And then what? Precisely. Exactly. Birthdays, holidays, etc. being missed because you want to be in the media acting goofy. You call me when you are ready to be real and own up to the ish Takari has done. Not Jackie, Takari. Takari. Until then, please don't speak about me. Now, the next thing that's posted is Takari's response. And I got to pull it back up so you guys can see it. She says, most of you know I've healed and moved on from the family drama. However, if I'm asked to not speak on or about people, I expect the same respect. It's been almost 10 years, a lot of time and distance. So to speak on how I feel or what I went through and I can't even say happy birthday to you is not going to fly. I know I'm the peasant or whatever, but don't provoke me, please. Because that has been a general complaint or a general sentiment that has been expressed by Takari is this idea of feeling like the outsider or the black sheep amongst this family. So particularly with Jackie and also it seems as though particularly with Chantel. For context, Chantel has appeared on Basketball Wives. Jackie went to bat with Drea for over there was a dude that the two of them were in some odd situation with at the time from what I remember. So we've seen Jackie go to bat for Chantel. This is interesting. How do you think that this is going to play out? I mean, I know we have some more episodes to go for the season, even though they didn't give us a preview for the next episode. But I am wondering how they are going to play these next few episodes, particularly with Jackie and Chantel, and what will be Chantel's responses because based on this, I would have to believe that moving forward, we're not going to see you bashing your mom on social media or clapping back about the things that you felt about the episode, because based on this, no, forgiveness is paramount, right? And I mean, that's true anyway, right? So are you at a place of forgiveness for everyone or just your mama? Or does that extend to Takari? And why can't Takari wish you a happy birthday? This is a very interesting dynamic that's playing out here. And I am quite interested to see how this plays out. Hopefully, at the end of the day, this is family, and I know it's been years upon years of whatever deep-seated drama this is, but maybe these ladies will be able to, at some point, move past it. Now, somebody who can't seem to stay out of the drama, okay, is Fedra Parks. Phaedra is back on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, and she is leaving fans scratching their heads with some of the things that are happening. So yesterday we talked to you guys about the interview that Angela Oakley did with Carlos King, wherein she alleges that Phaedra is the person responsible for the rumor and having allegedly paid the mystery man who approached her about Charles allegedly meeting with all types of different women's in his restaurante. Now, here's the thing. Let me just say this too. If the man is meeting with women in public places, I mean, let's just say for the sake of argument that was the case. It doesn't appear as though he's trying to hide it if he is appearing in these restaurantes. And then, do you have photographic evidence, right? Video surveillance? Do you have him on video dining for hours with multiple women? Because at that point in time, unless you have concrete proof, it is going to look very odd. And who's to say, even if he was meeting with these women in these public establishments, that he was indeed cheating and not doing some type of business, right? I don't know. All I know is this is something that Angela has already clearly dealt with in their marriage. So it obviously ain't a deal breaker. But my thought is, I don't know, like how when you sit and think about this, how does this eventually play out? What is the motive? What's the meaning behind all of this? For Phaedra, is it just for ratings? For Angela, is it to embarrass her, to give her some story, to give her an arc? What is this? Because it just reminds me of this idea of when a woman comes on these shows and she's in a marriage, that they eventually just go for the marriage. Now, speaking of marriages, we know that Drew is in the thick of a divorce with Ralph. Well, Phaedra defends locking Drew out of her event and basically says, she wasn't going to disrupt the show for her to come in. She says that, she sent out a message and said the doors will be closing at 6:45. At 6:45, she gets a message from Drew that she was in traffic. So she holds the doors until 7, and then they needed to get started. Now, she then says, well, it wasn't like she was going to buy anything anyway, because she don't buy nothing. And Portia jokes, well, she's on the same budget plan that I'm on, because they're both in a divorce. And Phaedra's like, well, she just don't buy nothing. So they flash back to Kelly accusing Drew of not buying anything at the Balmain event. And now I guess that is catching up with Drew, because that reputation, I guess, is just out there at this point, which is very interesting to me, because how would she know that? She wasn't even there at that point in time. Did someone tell her? I don't know, because I don't know. That's probably the one time that we've seen that maybe Drew didn't purchase something, but she did. But she said that she did later on. So I don't know. Anyway, the tea is, as it gets deeper into that topic, Phaedra then says, well, she doesn't buy anything anyway. Ralph pays all the bills, and he's a musician, and he is very accomplished. Most people don't know these things about him. And she just goes on and on and on and on and on praising Ralph. you would have thought Ralph was babyface. Okay, the way she was going on about him, you know, especially such a musician. Oh my God, he's such a producer extraordinaire, extraordinaire. It's like, girl, do you want him? Like, what? I mean, it was just kind of a lot that she was giving him praises for. You know, Phaedra is an interesting character. She's a very, very interesting character. So to see her kind of come back into this show and then exhibit some of these behaviors, it's kind of given like, Phaedra, are you clicking up or are you clicking down? Like, what are you doing? I mean, it's questionable at this point. Is it that to be on a housewife show, you've got to be willing to get your hands dirty for the sake of ratings? Is that the thing? Is that the thing now? Is that what the show is ultimately about at this point? Somebody let me know in the chat what you guys think. How do you think this whole situation will play out with Jackie, the two daughters? Do you think that this will ever be anything that gets resolved? Because as we've seen on these episodes, I mean, and through the years with Basketball Wives, even going back to season 2, where Laura met with Jackie's daughter behind Jackie's back, Chantel, I think it was, to be precise. Then, you know, the stuff with Evelyn and then the daughter as well, then Takari, it's just been stuff all through the years. What is the resolve for this family drama? Can it be resolved? Can time heal all wounds? I would like to see some resolve, but you know, because you only get one mom, but is who is the toxic factor here? Where does it start and how do we stop it? Anyway, that's all we got for you guys today. Make sure you guys keep it locked onto the channel. Like this video if you like reality TV related content. Understand, guys, we do have our trip coming up to Cape Town in December. And then we are also, at the moment, we are still doing the Zanzibar trip. So make sure you guys tap into that. We do have a couple I did get some of the extra rooms changed to single rooms because I knew that people probably wanted to do some singles. We do have some doubles as well. So you guys can get that. And of course, you can pay a deposit and then pay over time. But the time is drawing near. So let's get this thing popping. All right. With that being said, I will catch you all in the next